Breaking now, Highway 9 is closed in both directions north of Lake Stevens because of a deadly crash.
And we have video just in from that scene. State troopers tell us at least one person's dead. They say it appears one of the drivers ran a stop sign at a high speed, then broadsided another car, killing that driver. We're still working to get more information tonight. Again, State Route 9 is closed at Sunnyside School Road in both directions, just north of Lake Stevens.
Developing now, Hurricane Michael has been downgraded to a tropical storm. This is a live look from a drenched camera in Atlanta. While that city is not taking a direct hit, Michael continues to bring heavy rain and winds as it barrels across Georgia tonight.
New drone video showing us devastation left behind in the Florida Panhandle. The powerful winds peeling back the roof of this middle school, exposing the gym floor in Panama City.
We know at least one man was killed by a falling tree in Florida. Tonight, search and rescue teams are headed into the hardest hit areas.
And this is just a fraction of the destruction people will likely wake up to all across the Florida Panhandle tomorrow. In fact, I want to show you some of the intense video that continues to come in on our feeds tonight. This is what it looked like as Michael slammed into Florida with such full force as a strong Category 4 hurricane. In fact, storm chasers had to hunker down inside a parking garage for protection from winds that reached 155 miles an hour. And this is the ongoing threat in Florida right now. Watch as this massive tree toppled over a family's home in Tallahassee. Tonight, more than 600,000 customers are spending the night without power in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama.
Reporter Matthew Seedorf from our sister station is showing us the terrifying moment they had to leave the 20th floor of a condo tower when the hurricane hit Panama City Beach.
Look at this. The building is swaying back and forth. We're going to a lower level right now.
Hurricane Michael's 100-mile-per-hour plus winds causing a 23-story condo to sway.
Holy cow, look outside.
On the 20th floor, photojournalist Cameron Duckworth and I ditched our room and headed for solid ground.
We're in the stairwell now.
Doors almost ripped from their hinges while an intense storm blew through Panama City Beach. On the third floor, we met these people.
It starts swaying.
The building's going like this.
Like literally everything in our place starts swaying.
We walked down 11 sets of stairs, also terrified. A survival story that will keep spinning for those affected by Michael. Reporting in Panama City Beach, I'm Matthew Seedorf.
And the wind there, absolutely incredible, and that will be what Michael is remembered for. All of the hurricanes can be so different. They all have a different signature and flavor. So many things depend upon how they end up and what their reputation will be, including their population area, the topography of where they hit, what quadrant of the storm is a factor, and of course how quickly they move on through. Katrina, of course, very famous for the storm surge and all of those levees failing there in New Orleans. Harvey and more recently Florence, we had them stalling out and sitting over the same areas for so long that caused that torrential rain and all of the flooding. And with Michael, you've heard a lot over the last 24 hours about how strong he has been, and that is because of those severe winds coming in early this morning as a Category 4, almost a 5. Mercifully, he is a quick mover. You can see him really chugging along quickly through Georgia tonight. And look at how quickly he makes the turn out of the Carolinas early tomorrow morning, and then ultimately out to sea as quickly as by Thursday night. So on the way out, and that's good news.
It certainly is. And right now, trucks full of supplies are making their way from Fife to Florida to help those impacted by Hurricane Michael. Nonprofit group World Vision sending everything from food and water to toothbrushes and blankets. It's all donations, and if you'd like to help, you can drop off supplies at World Vision's locations in Fife, or you can donate money online. And we'll continue tracking Michael and the recovery. In 10 minutes, we'll have a live report from Panama City Beach, Florida.
Developing now, this natural gas pipeline explosion in British Columbia is having a ripple effect here in Western Washington. We brought you the story's breaking news last night, and now we're learning the rupture could drive up gas prices right here at home. And that's because the pipeline supplies natural gas to refineries in our state, including the Shell Puget Sound refinery in Anacortes. At this hour, it's unclear when operations at the pipeline will be back to normal. Komo's Tammy Mutasa is live in Seattle with the impact at the pump. But Tammy, experts are urging people not to panic.
Yes, Mary, but it's hard not to. Experts say get ready to feel the pinch at the pump. But drivers I talked to tonight say prices are already high, and this will hurt their pocketbook.
Pain at the pump could be on the way for drivers. Analysts say gas prices could jump 15 to 30 cents per gallon in Washington and Oregon over the next week.
That's a lot of money from an explosion, and it's like that doesn't recover right away, right? So it is a little stressful.
It's hard paying for gas already, so it would be even harder on people who need their car.
The ruptured Enbridge pipeline feeds natural gas to oil refineries in Washington state. The Shell Puget Sound refinery in Anacortes and other refineries are shutting down because they need a steady supply of natural gas to refine crude oil into gas.
Something like this just doesn't happen very often.
Analysts say how long the price spike lasts depends on how long the pipeline stays out of service.
I'm just going to suffer. I'm just going to have to pay. There's no way I could not drive. There's nothing I could do.
Experts say the last thing to do is panic.
I think people should take what they need, but don't hoard, because in this kind of circumstance, you could wind up in a far more desperate situation of no gas and much higher prices.
And back out here live, experts say we might have to rely on gas from other countries like Indonesia and Singapore, but that could cost much more. Morgan?
Good to know, Tammy. Thank you. The pipeline rupture is disrupting garbage and recycling service. Waste Management says there will be no collection in most of King and Snohomish counties tomorrow because their trucks run on that compressed natural gas from Puget Sound Energy, and that supply has been interrupted. The Marysville area, including Arlington and Granite Falls, are not affected. Companies like Puget Sound Energy are urging customers to save natural gas now by lowering thermostats and limiting any hot water use.
As of this afternoon, all of those conservation efforts have combined to stabilize the natural gas system, and we're hopeful that it will remain stable. We're going to be asking all of our customers to continue to conserve through tomorrow.
In Shoreline, city leaders shut down the Shoreline pool to help conserve. The pool is heated using natural gas, and it will stay closed indefinitely.
Doctors say it might start as a cold or a sore throat, but children are ending up paralyzed from a rare virus that once again is making its way through our state. Komo's Joel Marino is live at Children's Hospital, where some of these patients are being treated tonight. Joel?
Mary, the disease is known as AFM, and 3 children are here tonight trying to recover from it. 2 others are at Marybridge in Tacoma. Now, symptoms come on very suddenly and are a lot like polio.
A mystery disease is infecting children across the nation, making their arms or legs useless and limp. Acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM, can start out as a common cold or fever, but becomes a debilitating condition.
A parent might notice that a child is not using one of their limbs, for example.
2 years after Francisco Violante was diagnosed, he still can't walk.
Long term, I think that this is going to always be with him in one way or another.
The rare disease isn't limited to children. Hannah McNeil is making progress, but still needs a wheelchair.
It just breaks my heart to see those little kids going through it.
At this point in Washington, 5 children are being treated for AFM.
We had an outbreak in the fall in 2016, and we're in the fall again, and we're seeing what appears to be another small cluster of cases.
Well, while there is no cure and doctors are still searching for an exact cause, the good news is that most patients tend to make a full recovery over time. Morgan?
So far this year, clusters have been detected in 16 states with 38 cases total. An onset of weakness in one or more limbs should be a red flag to parents, and the child should be checked out as soon as possible. Preventative measures include washing hands, keeping current on vaccinations, and steering clear of people who are sick. An update now on a dead dog that was found mutilated last week near a trail in Thurston County. The sheriff's office now tells us the dog's skinned body was dumped there by a taxidermist. The dog was old and was legally put down by a veterinarian, and the family wanted to memorialize it through taxidermy. The sheriff's office says this is no longer an animal cruelty investigation.
This McDonald's in Parkland is closed for a second time in 2 weeks after a dead rat was found this morning inside the restaurant. 2 Sundays ago, a customer shot the cell phone video of rats running around inside. The McDonald's closed for 4 days while exterminators got rid of the rodents. The Pierce County Health Department says it's working with the restaurant owner and the exterminator again to help this McDonald's reopen. New tonight, the Seahawks are on their way to London. The team left SeaTac Airport tonight for their international business trip. And when the Seahawks travel, the 12s follow, even if it means a trip across the pond. Sports director Mike Ferreri is in London with the hype leading up to the game.
Well, the Komo team has made the long trip from Seattle to London, but you know what? We did not make the trip alone. Seahawks fans are arriving in London by the plane load. It doesn't matter where the game is, the 12s always show up. Is this just what Seahawks fans do, though? It doesn't matter where?
Yes. Oh, yeah, you go to any away game, you will see a crowd of Seahawks fans. Any away game.
This group of ladies flew over with the Komo crew this morning. They even made special jerseys and hats for this London game. While Seahawks fans bring their passion for American football to London, the sport is still intriguing for those across the pond who are not yet immersed in American football.
Just the way you need to throw the ball overhead.
You don't like that?
No. For some reason, I can't always get the turn right, so it goes like this.
Well, what if you did the seams, tried chucking it? Here's a seam. Look at that.
Better.
Yeah. Huh?
There's an awful lot of people in the team, though. They seem to have a special person for every different role, you know.
Right.
One bloke kicks the ball, the other one argues with the referee, and then somebody else does something else.
The reason the NFL plays games over in London is to expand their global reach. They've been playing games here since 2007. This is the first time the Seahawks have ever made the trip across the pond for a regular season game. In London, Mike Ferreri, Komo Sports.
And Mike will have reports from London all week. He'll be at the game as the Hawks take on the Oakland Raiders this Sunday at Wembley Stadium. Coming up next, hurricane damage in the Panhandle. This is what Panama City looks like tonight. We'll have a live report on the challenges and cleanup ahead. Plus, a mother and daughter murdered on a hiking trail. Their deaths have gone unsolved for more than a decade. The results of a new polygraph test. And a record request to battle a wildfire crisis in Washington. How state leaders plan to improve the health of local forests.
And clear for right now around downtown Seattle, but fog starting to develop elsewhere, particularly in the South Sound and near the beaches. We'll talk about our murky morning coming up next.
And another check of the feeds when we come back.